Hi! In this episode, we're going to continue on refreshing this 1999 Mitsubishi Eclipse. But before I get started, I'm going to talk about how reliable these cars are. Why are you here again? Are you bored of your own universe? Nope. But I thought when I heard you say the words before we get started, that you were actually going to start the car and we got to go for a drive for a change, rather than just working on the cars. That's not what I meant. I meant starting the content of this video. And then you're going to start the car? No, I'm just going to continue refreshing the car, and that'll be the end of the video. What I think would be refreshing is if you actually started the car. Fine. There. Woohoo! Now let's go for a drive. I might have a little trouble doing that. Hello, and thanks for spending some time with me today. This is going to be a continuation of getting this rear of this Eclipse back to where it needs to be, better than new, in fact. And what I'm going to start doing at the beginning of the video is getting this prepped and done for POR15. If you're not familiar with POR15, look it up. But a lot of people use it just for rust inhibitor and actually to fight rust if they have it. This car doesn't actually have a lot of rust, really none, really a bit of surface rust here and there, maybe in a few places, but nothing too bad. There's some undercoating on here. But it also does a really nice job of a hard shell underneath, very easy to clean, looks great as well, and that's why I want to do it rather than have this kind of look, because then it gets into a little bit of a show car finish, and that's what we're going to do. On top of that, I've got some rear end pieces as well that I want to get done. On the suspension side, fuel tanks need to be redone a little bit to make them look nice and spruce it all up. So that's what I'm going to continue on in this episode. First thing that you got to do for PR15 is the prep. There's a number of different ways to prep depending on your situation. I won't get into that because you can look all that stuff up. But it depends if you're doing a wholly rusted out car, how you're going to do it. If you're going to cover up some paint, how you're going to do it. And a number of things. Some people spray it, so there's things you can do there to spray it. I'm going to brush it on, and like I said, I'm not going to get into that because that's been done on the web as well, and you can look that up and talk to PR15, and I think they got sheets how to do it, depending on your situation. But I'm just going to let you know that I'm going to do it. I've done it on other cars and love the product. I know there's similar products out there, they're probably just as good, but that's the one that I've been kind of using for years, and I just stick to it. So I'm going to start prepping this and get it applied. Time to clean up this gas fill pipe. I'm going to start with sandblasting it. And that's what it looks like when you get a gas fill pipe refreshed. You can see how it all turned out. This is the elbow on the elbow. Yeah, so we can get that installed right away. Want to see a trick on how to get these rubber pieces looking new? I've mentioned this in other videos, but in case you missed it, you can sandblast these rubber pieces and they will turn out to be looking brand new. Watch. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that, how this stuff turned out. And it comes out a little dusty after you do the sandblasting, so a little tip is I actually throw it in the dishwasher just to give it a little good wash rinse, and they come out looking brand new. As you can see, these parts I'm gonna paint. I'm going to clean some more stuff up. These are the fuel tank straps that hold it in, and these are the rear bumper mounts. They're a little got a little rust on them, which is expected, But let's blast that out and get them cleaned up and painted. Pretty nifty. Here's some brand new brake line clips right from Mitsubishi to replace these crusty, ugly ones. So here's what I got done this week. You've seen some of it in the video already, but I'll just review what I've done. So all this was POR 15. I did have the gas tank out, and you've seen that when I spilt gas all over when I removed it. And I cleaned all the fuel tank up, so it's all looking nice and sharp. And then I POR 15 this as well, which is actually the protection metal plate for the plastic gas tank that it has. So you can see, all done, really nice. So POR 15, when I do it, I dress to the hilt. Here's my little costume that I put to make sure I don't get any on me. I still managed to get some on me. You can kind of see, I think here. This is from a few days already, but that stuff just won't come off your skin. You basically got to shed your skin before you can get it off. So don't get it on you. Don't get on anything, because it just won't come off once it's dried up. And it doesn't take long to dry, because the more moisture there is what it actually uses to cure. It will cure right away if it's got a lot of water in the air. So you don't have a lot of time to clean up if you do spill it. Just don't do it. Cover everything. That's what I do. I still managed to spill some, but you don't want this stuff on you or anywhere else other than where you want it. And it does a really nice finish, as you can see. It's show car quality. Really happy with the way it turned out. It does a nice hard shell that can't be damaged. Incidentally, UV light, this won't matter underneath, but if you get a lot of UV light, it can fade it. I haven't had that happen because I only use it on undercarriages and it doesn't see a lot of light, natural light like that from the sun. but you do need to paint it apparently for UV protection if it's going to be exposed to a lot of sun. So just a tip on that if you are planning to do it. Again, I can't say enough good things about it because I've had really good luck the way it works, other than it's quite something when you got to apply it. So what else I've done is I've got all new hardware on. That the hangers look like new as I blasted them, showed you that, how well they look, and put them up. I clean all the connectors completely with a toothbrush actually in simple green. I did the same with the cables for the parking brake. That's all good. I painted all the mounts that hold the parking brake in place. Also the brake lines, I cleaned all them up. I use actually green scouring pad for that, and wipe it all down to try and get it clean as it can be. These ones I actually have a matching green paint because if you ever seen the lines, they are actually green on these cars, which in a lot of cars they're kind of a pale green. So I do spray paint them, and I did that on this one just to clean it up a little bit because it had a few nicks in it, as you may have seen on your own cars if you've ever cleaned them up. So the brake lines look brand new, even though they aren't brand new, but they were in pretty good shape to begin with. In fact, I only did a bit of touch up there, and all back here, right here, I didn't touch it. I just cleaned them up and everything's good. You've seen where I did the gas fill pipe, cleaned all that up, sandblasted it, new hardware, so it looks brand new in there. Everything looks better than new. As any of you have seen a car underneath, this is just kind of some undercoat with some white paint. It looks almost like an overspray. This does a much nicer job. It's a lot tougher and very easy to clean if you do get it dirty. And if you have a show car, you're never going to get dirty. But it looks great where you could, if you do bring a show car, you can have mirrors under it. You can lift it up a little bit on its side or whatever you want to do to display it. Will look great. And that's what I wanted for this car. Since I did everything else already, I got some interior, as I said, but I've done everything else. So yeah, very happy with that. This took a lot of time. A lot of hours were put into cleaning all this up, taking it all apart, sandblasting pieces, painting pieces, and then putting it all back together carefully and meticulously and making sure everything was clean. Normally probably what would take you, maybe half a day, this took quite a 3 or 4 days probably to end up doing. Not 16-hour days or by any means, but it does take that long if you want to be that meticulous to get this right. And I love doing it. I tell you what, the most satisfying thing for me anyway, working on cars, I'll tell you what, some of the most discouraging things is when you take it all apart and it's rusty and dirty and filthy and it doesn't look new. I hate that, and I'm sure a lot of you do, even though we have to deal with it a lot. But when you clean it all up, which does take some time, but the rewards are great when you've got this, and now this car, if you ever disassemble again, is just really nice to take apart and put back together. It just makes it a lot easier to try and even follow how it's put together, and you're not frustrated dealing with all the rusted bolts, if there is any, or the dirt and cleaning up things. So really find that rewarding when you clean things up and put it all back together, which is probably why I do it. I cleaned up and replaced some of the hoses that were feeding the fuel tank and the gas fill pipe as well. And so that's all sharp. Again, have a look if you want to see what I've done. Another thing I do is things like this where there's bolt holes with nothing in it, but they were just in the body for whatever they did sometime in maybe another car we're planning to. I fill them in with hardware as well because they just look terrible because they're rust, and if you ever want to use them for something, a clip or something, then it's easy to take that bolt out as well. So a little OCD on my part, but I do that where you can see, there's one up there. I got a few things like that. You can see up here, those aren't used, but I fill in the holes with hardware just to tidy it up. I just can't handle that, that's all. So I think that's going to take care of what I'm going to do on this video. Again, it's taken me all week, not 100% of my time, but a good portion of my time, just to get that part done. And I'm doing it as I assemble. So what's next? Well, this is what's next. I'm going to be taking this apart, which will take some time as well, and it's probably the worst piece of the car as far as needing cleaned up. I think it's because it's the rear of the car. It must have been exposed to some harsh environments at one point where you can see there's a bit of rust and dirt on it, and I'm going to clean that up. It's not horrible. A lot of it's surface rust. I will take these pieces off altogether, and I will blast them, and again, I might powder coat them or I might just paint them. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. This will get cleaned up as well. Should be powder coated, but we'll see what I'm going to do, if I'm going to paint that or not. And the differential back there definitely is rusted, probably the most rusted piece of all. But that's all surface rust on that cast stuff. So I'll just put that in the blaster as well when I take it apart, and then clean it all up, and it'll look great. And that's going to take a while, but that's what I'll be doing for the next episode. And I don't know if I'll get it to the next episode or it'll be another part, but it's buttoning it up, and I've got all these, the drive shaft, the heat shield, and the muffler stuff I got to clean up. I'm going to end up doing it like I did with for the front, where I do ceramic paint on it. Flame-proof VHT is what I use, and then I clear it with the same as well. I also need to get the front bumper cover, rear bumper cover, and the side skirts that I did in a previous episode where I got painted. I got that painted right now. I just got to get it where it is and put it back on. But that'll be probably the last thing I do as far as the body before I do actually some paint correction. In fact, I might do paint correction first before I apply. It just might be easier because the painted parts won't need any paint correction. I may do it later on that, but it's going to be a little soft from being fresh paint. So I don't want to do paint correction on it right away, but I will do it on the rest of the car, which is all it needs. And then the exterior will all be done, including all the mechanical stuff as well. And then I got some interior stuff, and we'll go into that as well in later episode. And that's going to be it for this episode. To catch the rest that's coming, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys watching, and all their comments have been great, especially on this car. I noticed I'm getting a lot of comments on it, just like I did with the Lotus previously. Lots coming with the Lotus, and I got more surprises as well that'll be coming. And of course, enjoy every day, and always make it right.